And now, ladies and gentlemen,
Put your thumbs up and say it's Tickety Boo.
Tickety Boo.
Tickety Boo, Tickety Boo, everything's Tickety Boo.
Tickety Boo, son. Tickety Boo.
Tickety Boo.
You ever find yourself asking everyone else what to do? Like they've got some secret manual for your life that you've just missed? We've all done it. Second guessed ourselves, looked for signs, waited on permission, and ended up more confused than when we started. In this episode of Tickety Boo, we're getting into why we keep handing our power away and what it costs us when we believe everyone else's opinion matters more than our own gut feeling. If you've ever thought, I don't trust myself to get this right, you're not alone, and this episode is for you. Isn't it strange how we can have a gut feeling about something? Like, really know it, really feel it, but still find ourselves needing somebody else to confirm it for us. Why do we do that? Why do you think we do it?
We don't trust ourselves, basically. And gosh, I mean, I'm sure we've all done it. You know, whether we're asking a sibling, a peer, a parent, a coach, a mentor, going online and wanting a psychic reading, pulling out the tarot cards, pulling a crystal, like whatever it is, we don't trust ourselves. And I think, and I've certainly done it, and I think part of that is we actually drum it out of children to trust themselves, to like not believe the stories they're saying out. Even like if it comes to even food, you know, oh, finish all your, I mean, I grew up in the 70s and being in school, there's starving children in Ethiopia, you must finish everything that's on your plate. So we start not trusting our inner dialogue and ourselves, and then we think everybody else is right. Because I think even when it comes to, let's say, pursuing a career or whatever it is we want to do, we think everybody else is right, we must be wrong. And so
Do you think that? Do you think everyone's right?
Oh, absolutely not. In my mind, everybody but me is wrong.
So do you never ask anybody? You've never asked anybody?
Oh, no, I do.
Oh, you were being funny there.
Yeah, well, if you have to ask if I was funny, obviously I wasn't being...
You've just asked the court jester if he's been funny.
I do, and the reason that I ask other people, sometimes I want them to feel included in the rhetoric, so I want them to feel inclusion in what we're doing.
That's
so
nice.
I will ask their opinion. Sometimes I may steer their opinion and give them a number of options that will
lead you to the outcome you want.
Yeah, but it's an important. But speaking to other people is an important part of bringing them on board and making them feel a sense of ownership. And another little thing that just cropped up in my mind when you were talking about being a kid. When you're a kid, you've been do as you're told, and you're being drummed into doing as you're told. Look up to your elders, do what they do. So you're always being trained to do as you're told, or look up to people that you perceive to be more experienced in life.
Do you not feel though that we're addicted to certainty?
Oh yes. Absolutely.
I know the brain does like certainty. It's constantly searching for certainty. But I do think we're addicted to it.
Yes.
If we're unsure about something, let's just outsource it. So if we do that, does that not rob us of an opportunity of growth?
Of course it does. Yeah.
Because we basically hand the reins over to somebody else, don't we? And let them advise us or influence us.
When has been a time you have not listened to your own gut feeling?
Oh my God. Too many times.
Yes.
Way too many times.
And you've asked somebody else. So not like in where you've been ignoring your gut feeling, but when you've actually asked somebody else their opinion instead.
The one thing that I'm aware of is that I ask for advice when I already know what the answer is. And I'm only happy if they give me the same answer that I've already come to.
That's an interesting one, yeah.
I don't know if that's just me, but
so looking for validation, you already know.
As long as you give me the answer that I want, I'll take your advice.
Yeah. That sounds just like me. That does. Absolutely, Dan would say.
So in a lot of ways, it's almost like I'm not looking for advice. I'm looking for permission.
Yeah. It's that permission slip, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is fine if you're in, like with you. I often call you. Obviously in the world of therapy, I've got you on the end of the phone, which is a real resource that most people don't have. But within other areas, I've got my brothers or certain friends, and I will phone up because I've got a circle of people
Phone
where
a
that.
friend.
Well, absolutely, but that circle of people, I know that we all work from the same ethical position, and I can trust their opinions. The issue comes when you look at somebody that you think that they're an expert, but
So
they've
you're
only
giving-
they've only read one more chapter in the book than you. It's where you draw that validation or that acceptance from.
Giving your power away.
Exactly, and it's who you're giving it to. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
And in that moment, are we looking for answers or comfort or backup?
Or an opportunity not to stick your head above the parapet.
What happens though, I'm sure we've all had this, where you go and ask for advice and they tell you what you know is right, but it really gets you back up.
Yeah.
Like they'll tell you a home truth or something that you probably deep down really know. Does the ego dig its heels in and you get a bit stubborn? Or do you go, reflecting on it, you've got a fair point?
Now I would go, you've got a fair point, but there was a time I was very known for being very stubborn in my teenage years and 20s. So it didn't matter.
Generally, I can
I
reflect
wouldn't
on
have
them
listened.
now. But my initial reaction is normally probably
dare
not quite so graceful. And then I go away and reflect and go, do you know what, they've got a good point there.
Yeah.
I was very much like that, like who are you, to tell me that? But now I'm actually really grateful when somebody sort of, offers up a perspective that I've maybe missed or I've not been thinking about, because it's an opportunity to learn. But I think that comes with a bit more wisdom and emotional maturity to actually go, this person's not actually criticising me, they're laying out an observation of the situation, and there could be gold.
And sometimes
In
they're just
this.
giving you a reminder as opposed to a criticism. They just remind you, okay, hang on, remember when maybe you did that before and it was this, or you said you never wanted to do that kind of thing ever again. So sometimes it can just be a reminder or a reflection as opposed to, or it could be advice, or it could be a recommendation, or a constructive criticism, shall we say.
Yeah, I think there's the slight pitfall with constantly looking to others for answers is it just erodes your own confidence.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
You almost fall into this analysis paralysis where you're unable to make a decision.
Yep. So when you're figuring it, trying to figure things out, it's your opportunity for growth, as you say, and you're just closing. I know you've already said that, but you're sort of closing that door on yourself all the time, knocking your own confidence.
Yeah. In reality, when you're generally asking, it's because you're doubting yourself.
And sometimes we're choosing from something where there's actually no wrong answer. Like, let's say you're considering a new venture, looking at you. Sometimes there's not a wrong answer. Maybe those 3 different opportunities or those 3 different projects, they're all good. They could all have very different outcomes. None of them's wrong. And so I think sometimes people don't just take the chance and try one and go, you know what, if it doesn't work, I do the next one, or it might work. So I think sometimes it can hold people back, but sometimes there's no wrong decision.
No, absolutely not. I mean, a lot of the reasons I ask people, some of it's admiration. I look at they're somewhere that I want to be, so I will ask them about that. And I take little bits from, the same as when my entire apprenticeship, I've learnt from different people and just taken little bits of what they all do and then added it to what I've got personally, and found my own way.
Yeah.
There's no, their lives aren't perfect. They haven't got it all figured out. But maybe they've done something that I haven't, or they've just a different perspective. But it just offers you little bits that you can add to your own arsenal.
So are we kind of saying a lot of the time we already know what we want to do, we're just a bit scared?
Yes.
And I
Probably
think
lack of confidence.
Yeah, and it's learning to trust ourselves, because we actually have all the wisdom, and people don't have. Nobody should have that power over us that they've only got the right answer. Like, when we trust ourselves, then we're empowered. We have our own inner wisdom, our own guidance, and we know what our deeper meaning is. We know what our why is. We know where we want to go.
So do you think some of it is, like, this is probably workplace, But if you live, or if you're within a social or a work culture where people are looking to lay blame, and if something doesn't work out, push the blame, like find somebody to push it onto. Do you think by asking other people, it's more about protecting yourself, giving yourself?
Don't want that personal responsibility.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
So
If it goes wrong, who can I pin it on?
yeah.
Oh, it went wrong because they told me I should do it that
Well,
way.
I discussed it with so and so. Yeah. So.
And I think it's that self-responsibility, and I think that's whether it's work, professional, relationships, whatever, family, like it, with all of that, it's like self-responsibility, as you said in the last episode. It's like, what's my responsibility in this?
But the thing is, if you go and ask somebody, then it almost feels like a shared responsibility. So you're not carrying the full weight of that
So you're
decision.
passing the
Maybe
buck.
that's what, yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you have to take responsibility for whatever choice you do make, even if you choose to seek external validation.
Yeah, but do you know what the really cool stuff is? When you get it wrong, if you can take a lesson out of it,
Yeah.
next time you make the decision, you know, you're the one that's
Well, there's
you
the
know, that's
growth.
moved forwards from it, because you've got two different kinds of people in life. You've got the guys that go, oh my God, that went wrong, I'll never do that again. And the other people that go, next time I do that, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z differently, so as those problems don't occur. You get one group of people that stay the same and one group of people that, you know, power on forwards.
If we look at the most successful business people, they're the ones they've failed again and again, and then they
failed
try
more than you.
Yeah, and it's not about, they don't look at their failures. They look at it, as you say, as lessons learned, and then they, you know, so they're not talking about all the fails they've had. Oh yeah, I learnt this, and now I'm doing this.
Without my failures, I wouldn't have a clue how to run a proper, profitable business. I've got to,
Oh, there we go.
all those losses in the past, you know, as much as I might blame other people for ripping me off, whatever it is, I would definitely not be running the business I am now without the failures I had previously. Absolutely.
So
And that
helps you.
takes
And those-
self-trust.
Self-trust, and also all those experiences have allowed you to delete the self-doubt.
Yes, and adjust my perspective. Because now when I thought the world was going to end and everybody that loved me was going to leave me and all that kind of rubbish, when things did fall apart, all the important stuff was still there.
So have you guys got like areas in your life where you tend to hand the power over when it comes to decisions, not because you're scared, more you're worried you might get it wrong?
I always ask Louise before I go into a big project. One is because if it goes wrong, it will have the same detrimental effect to her life as it will to mine.
So that's out of respect.
Yeah, it's out of respect.
Yeah.
Also, for all those dark and bad times, she's been there to witness what's gone on, and though she might not say a lot, she's been witness to all them lessons personally. So I know that's a good place to draw on and blimey, she doesn't mince her words. She'll tell me straight. You know, there's no feeding the ego there.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I'd say in some, whether it's relationships, collaborations, business, the thing that I do now that maybe I didn't before, it's actually having an open and honest, conscious conversation about, like, for example, the festival that I was helping somebody organise. What do we want to have happen out of this? What are the roles? So being really honest and open about the expectations. So it's not, and also is this project aligned with what I want to do before I even go into it? So again, trusting myself and being truthful to myself, but having respect for the people I'm maybe going to collaborate with, and maybe they don't align with me, so then I'm not going to, or maybe they do. Like, it's, I think if we start having open and honest conversations with others and ourselves, there's a lot that can be done.
I think what I've learned over the years is there's those that will give you advice based on lived experience. You know, they've been there before, or they've been similar. And then there's those that have opinions.
The armchair philosopher.
Yes.
And the opinions generally are the ones that will lead you into disruption. And I think one of the skills learning is that awareness of going, is this person giving me advice from a place of,
Yeah.
you know, lived experience, caring, compassion, or is it, like you said, an armchair opinion?
Also, what is their intent behind the answers they're giving you? Have they genuinely got your best interests at heart?
I always like it. Opinions are like, you see these Sunday League football teams and you got the guy shouting on the sideline, oh, you should have done this, you should have done that. And they've probably never played a game of football in their lives.
Guilty.
Okay, so I think what we could say to people with this is next time you feel the compulsion to ask for advice, stop for a second and ask yourself, if I couldn't ask anyone else, what would I do?
Oh, and another one we can do is, what do I already know, but I'm pretending I don't? Because quite often we know the answer, and it's just diving deeper. It's like, what do I already know? Who do I already know? It's like if you're trying to network, we often know the person to do the next collaboration with, or we often know. Yeah. So again, self-trust. Look to what you know.
I've definitely learned over the years that learning to trust myself, because what would happen is I'd made a decision, I'd gone down a route, and then in conversation I would share it. Not share what I was about to do, something that was going on with me. They would then give me their perspective, and then I'd start to doubt my own decision. Like, I hadn't thought of that one. And then they add something else into the mix.
Yeah.
I think
A good thing to do is, what's the worst that could happen? Is it really something I can't fix if I don't get it quite right? Because you're never going to get it 100%. Well, it's unlikely you're going to get it 100% wrong. You might just need to tweak it. What's the worst that's going to happen? There aren't that many things on a day-to-day level that are going to happen.
one of the best bits of advice I've ever been given was by an old accountant of mine who said, when you're dealing in situations with people, either over the telephone or in writing, always think that one day that could end up being read by a judge.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And he went, think about it for a minute. And I'm like, and that sounds daft. It's actually a really good bit of advice.
Yeah.
A really good bit of advice. Because there has been times where I've gone to make phone calls or write an email and I'm like, what would the judge think reading this? Ooh.
On the other hand, I used to, when my son, when he was really wee, and he first started using Instagram, it feels like a million years ago now, I would be, don't post anything that you wouldn't let your granny read. So there we go. But you'd let your granny read it and you could have it read out in court.
Yeah, I think, a bit of a wrap-up of self-reflection. Notice the areas in life where you tend to hand over your power.
Yes.
To other people because you're scared of getting it wrong, and just start to back yourself a little bit more and give yourself permission to make mistakes.
Yeah.
I think if you're making a decision and it's life-changing, what I mean by that is it's a big financial investment. The ramifications, if it goes wrong, could be pretty serious. Then go and get some advice from somebody that knows a lot better than you, which will involve you probably having to give them some money, like a lawyer or something like that. But when it comes to life choices and stuff, I think be careful where you go, stop for a second, ask yourself, if I had nobody here right now, what would I do? And start to just trust yourself a little bit more and give yourself a bit more credit. I think that's what I would say.
Definitely.
Great. Well, another enjoyable episode. Enjoy chatting with you. As always, guys, we really appreciate you watching and listening to the episodes. Whatever platform you're on, please click that follow, subscribe bell icon so you get notified as we release more episodes. And we look forward to catching up with you in the next episode of Tickety Boo.
If you or someone close to you needs to access mental health support, please contact your GP, or if it's out with normal office hours, get in touch with NHS 24 on 111. Alternatively, contact the Samaritans on 116 123. All calls are free of charge from any phone. You can also find more support information on the Tickety Boo website, ticketyboopodcast.co.uk.